Creating a lush, green, planted aquarium does not have to be as hard as it can seem sometimes. It just takes a little research, planning, and choosing the right plants that can grow in almost any tank. In this video, I'll highlight one of those plants, Pearlweed, while showing some of the monthly maintenance I do in order to keep the growth under control. When I was first getting into this hobby, a planted tank like this one seemed impossible. I thought it was too complicated and too expensive. Over time, I started learning that it was possible, and it didn't have to be complicated or expensive. The tank I'm working on here is a small cube, about 7 gallons. The only equipment on it is a light to grow the plants and a heater to maintain a tropical temperature. It doesn't even have a filter, since there's only one fish and the plants in and out of the tank are able to keep the water in perfect condition. I do the occasional water change, as you can see, to make sure that any minerals and trace elements don't steadily rise over time. But since it's a small tank, this is quick and easy work. It's my opinion that with a good light, a nutrient-rich substrate designed to grow plants, and the right plants, anyone can do this. Which brings me to the plant you see here, Pearlweed, or Hemianthus Micranthemoides. The great thing about this plant is that it grows well in almost any condition and is versatile enough to be used pretty much anywhere in your tank. You can trim it low like this to create a thick carpet, or let it grow tall and fill in your background. It creates great habitat for small fish, fry, and shrimp. I'm constantly seeing shrimp like this deep within the pearlweed in all of my tanks. The flip side of how easy it is to grow is that you'll need to trim it in order to keep it in check, especially if you want to try and keep it low like I am. On this tank, I trim it about once a month, but if I wanted to always look its best, I'd probably have to do it more frequently. Personally, I find this totally manageable, and it's a small price to pay for when you consider all the positives of pearlweed. You can see here that I have to keep trimming the entire front area to make a nice carpeted area. And the pearlweed will continue to grow in all the cracks around the rocks and hardscape in the tank. Once I finished the front carpet, I was able to fill up the tank again in order to get a better look at how it looks after the trimming. I had to resort to hand pulling a bunch of the pearlweed that had gotten in between the rocks and all over the other plants. This stirred up a bit of dirt and caused a bit of a mess, but you don't need to worry about that. The fish and animals are fine. Since I stirred up so much dirt, I decided to take a little bit more water out and refill it with clean water. As you can see, pearlweed really grows quickly and spreads quite out of control if you let it. I think she's liking the new trim job. And here it is, the tank after the trimming.